If you watched the previous training video on Compatibility Checker, this is going to make sense, because what we did is we took the original document here that was created in the latest version of Word 2013, and we saved it to an earlier version, and you can look at the extensions here, which again, if you don't know anything about extensions, then I recommend that you watch my Windows training video on extensions, but it's an extension of the name after the dot. What comes on the left-hand side of the dot is the name that you give the file. On the right-hand side tells the operating system what program is going to be opening this document up in. .dlcx or .dlc is going to open up in Word. Now notice the difference here, not only by the extensions but the icons. Okay, my icons are a little bit small, so let's come over here and click on More Options, and let's view them as large. Okay, which one of these is not like the other? You can see by the image here that this is a different looking icon than that one. That one's from the earlier version and this one's the latest version. So, as you recall in that previous training video, in that document we saved this document here into the earliest version from 97 through 2003. When you do that, it gets rid of the X, which makes it a more stable and smaller file size document, and also gives us that earlier version icon. So if somebody sends you a document that they created in the earliest version of Word, 97 through 2003, and notice when I hover over this file right here, you see that pop up just down below right there? It tells you it's from the earlier version. Not specifically if it was 97, 2000, 2002, or 2003, but just in that time period of versions. That when somebody sends it to you and you don't see that X there, you're not going to see it because by default Windows doesn't turn this on. But again, you can learn more about it in my Windows training video on extensions if I haven't pushed that far enough yet. In any case, when you hover over it, it'll tell you. Let me move off, hover back over it. That's the earlier version. Or if you look at the icon, you're like, hey, that doesn't look like that. When you double click to open it up, there's a couple things we're going to be noticing here. First of all, up here on the title bar, you've got the name of the document, the title of it, and it's in compatibility mode. That indicates to me that that's not in the latest version of Word. It'll also show that if somebody created a document in 2007 or 2010, meaning that for 2013 it's not the latest version. So to be able to convert that to the latest version, which is the purpose of this training video, you can come over here and click on the File tab, and Info is selected by default, and here's another indicator that this document wasn't created in the latest version of Word because you get the convert. So we want to go ahead and convert this restless soul into a more peaceful format, the latest version of 2013. Let's go ahead and convert it. Click on it. Now notice up here on the title bar it's got compatibility mode that when I click OK it disappears. It hasn't converted it yet until I click Save. So if I close out of it and I don't save it, it's still in the earlier version or file format of Word, the .dlc without the extra X, which brings up a good point. When I convert it, it's going to add the X, so not only is it going to have the same name, but the same extension. And when it does that, Word is going to say, wait a second, if we have the same extension with the same name, it's going to overwrite this. So it's going to let us make the choice by opening up the Save As window and say, okay, you can go ahead and rename this to a different name so you don't overwrite this one. You want to see? Let's go ahead and open it back up. File, to convert, click OK, and then click Save. The moment I click Save, it opens up the Save As window. It's going to leave the original .dlc there. It's just going to convert it into a file that we give a new name for, like Dreamforce About Us for Bob, and then click Save. And then it's converted. You can see up in the title bar, .dlcx, close out, and now we've got the, I was going to say the original version here, but that's the original version that we saved in an earlier version that when we try to convert it said it would overwrite this, so we need to rename it, so we changed the name, and then there's the copy of that, but in the latest file format or compatible with later versions of Word, the latest here, Word 2013. Now, if you have a document that you're saving in a folder that doesn't have the same name here when you convert it, you know, when you click OK and click Save, it'll automatically convert and won't open up the Save As window. So let's do this. Let me go ahead and click and drag this out of the folder onto the desktop and close out of here. Now on my desktop, do I have another document with the same name? I don't. I just have these 4 icons. Well, that one over there, there's 5. So when I open up the earlier version of Word, and you got the compatibility mode, and I click File, Convert, OK, Save, boom. Did you see that? because it didn't see any other document on the desktop with the same name and with the same extension that it wanted to convert to, the extra X there for the latest version of Word. It just automatically knew what to do, and it updated the document. So it's in the latest version of 2013. Let's close out, and you can see right here, it's right there, .docx. Now, if you see these other, I call them ghost documents, basically the autosave, when I start converting and doing things like that, it'll hold that there until I close out of Word, restart my computer, in which case these ghost documents will disappear, so we won't focus on that. But again, it's part of the auto recovery format in case if something crashes or as we're working in Word, you'll see this in the background here, or at least I do on my computer. And there it is, the only document here on my desktop completely converted.